Well, Republican presidential contenders are gearing up for their first debate of the 2024 race in just 48 hours. But it appears the frontrunner, former President Trump, will be sitting it out. Senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott has all the details on what Trump will be doing instead and how his rivals are responding.
Donald Trump is out, announcing he will not participate in the first Republican debate on Wednesday. Writing, "The public knows who I am and what a successful presidency I had. I will therefore not be doing the debates." Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie calling him a coward.
If he's not tough enough and honest enough and smart enough to stand on the same stage with me and debate these issues, then it's time to come back to Mar-a-Lago and retire.
Trump still holds a commanding lead over his rivals and now plans to counter-program the debate. Sources tell ABC News the former president already taped an interview with conservative talk show host Tucker Carlson. While his rivals hit the campaign trail this week, Trump is expected to surrender to authorities in Georgia to face charges that he tried to overturn the 2020 election. The former president is also accused of mishandling classified documents in a separate case, offering up this defense.
Everything was declassified because I had the right to declassify.
But sources tell ABC News his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, told special counsel investigators he could not recall Trump ever declassifying broad sets of classified material. And Trump's former vice president, Mike Pence, says he wasn't aware of that either.
I don't have any knowledge of any broad-based directive from the president, but that doesn't mean it didn't occur. It's not something that I ever heard about.
Trump now faces 4 indictments, 91 charges total, and quite the split screen that will be playing out this week as the former president prepares to turn himself over to authorities in Georgia. His rivals will be preparing to take that debate stage. As of now, 7 candidates will participate. Kira.
All right, Rachel, thank you so much. And from a no-show at the debate to showing up in court, Trump's lawyers were just spotted at the Fulton County Courthouse in Georgia, and our investigative reporter Olivia Rubin was there. She joins us along with our political director, Klein. Let's just jump in on this, Olivia, quickly. You saw Trump's attorneys there at the Fulton County DA's office just a short bit ago. What can you tell us? Any idea when Trump will turn himself in?
Well, Kieran, no clue yet on when Trump might actually surrender to the jail here. But like you just said, a key first step before that happens, we did just see the attorneys for Trump, his Atlanta team, entering into the Fulton County Courthouse. And we saw them going up to the 3rd floor, which is exactly where the DA has her office here. And what sources had explained to us last week here is that this meeting would be going on between the two sides for a very specific reason, and that is so that they can come together and really negotiate the terms and the deal of the former president's bond. And now that is something that they need to do here in Atlanta before Trump turns himself into the jail. Essentially, they ink out that deal, the judge signs off on it, they take that paper on down to the jail with them so that he can get processed and then leave. So that appears to be what is underway here right now at the courthouse. And it also seems that that has already happened. Another defendant in the case, John Eastman, one of Trump's former attorneys, has had his bond set today. He bonded for $100,000, Kira. So that really leaves the question as, is the former president going to have to put up money for his bond here in Atlanta? That is something we have not seen in any of the other cases against him, but clearly something on the table for some of the defendants here.
All right. And, Rick, let's talk about the debate now. Aside from Chris Christie calling Trump a coward, how are other Republicans responding to Trump saying he's skipping the debate?
Well, other than a couple who say that he's wimping out about this, they're generally saying he should be there. They'd rather he be there than not. You hear that from Ron DeSantis, who's been the one that's been sparring the most with Donald Trump from afar. Although you can go to the other direction to Vivek Ramaswamy, who says he's perfectly fine with him not attending. In a weird way, it might actually play into the campaign strategy for some of the candidates. People like Nikki Haley and Tim Scott, who are kind of operating as if Donald Trump isn't even in the race. He won't be in the room. Then again, the flip side is it's a little bit harder to make an argument that you should be the nominee if the front runner isn't there. It's going to tip, I think, the attention in other directions. And these candidates, I think, are just relieved right now to know for sure, 48 hours out, that Donald Trump will not be in attendance.
Well, and Rick, Trump still holds a commanding lead over his rivals. And then there's this new poll from Iowa finding that Trump holds a 23-point lead over his nearest rival, DeSantis. So what does that just tell you about the Iowa caucuses and the 2024 race in general? And do you think that he may just ditch all the debates altogether if he remains in the lead?
If he's up by this much, of course, I think it becomes sound strategy at some point to skip it. But I think these numbers can be a little bit deceiving. Yes, that's a huge advantage right now. But keep in mind, Donald Trump actually lost Iowa after leading in the polls pretty consistently toward the end. Ted Cruz won in 2016. Also, the favorability numbers in that last poll actually show Ron DeSantis in slightly better position than Donald Trump. 5 months out before the caucuses, no one can really assume that anything's in the bag. If he's able to win Iowa and then run the table, then that's one thing. But that's a lot to risk in sitting out the entire debate process. Right now, Donald Trump has made a blanket statement about it, not attending the debates, but I don't think anyone expects that to be the final word.
So, Olivia, you are also learning new details about what Trump's former White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, told Special Counsel Jack Smith's investigators, which appears to contradict Trump's primary defense in the classified documents case. Bring us up to speed.
Well, what sources have told ABC News, Kira, essentially is that Mark Meadows, who is the former president's chief of staff, someone that has appeared to be central in these investigations, but no one really knows what his involvement or his role has been. Sources telling Catherine Faulders and John Carl that Meadows has undercut one of Trump's main defenses, and that is he has told investigators that he was not aware of any declassification orders or declassification of classified documents by the former president. Now, why is that a problem, Kira? Because Trump himself and his legal team repeatedly have offered that publicly as a defense to why the former president may have had those records with him at Mar-a-Lago. They have said they were declassified. The former president declassified it. Now, that's not something that they have put forth, in legal documents. That's not something we know that they'll use as a defense as trial. But what we do know potentially is that Mark Meadows has undercut that to investigators and potentially given prosecutors a contradicting witness or point to what a legal defense of the former president might be here, and something that we have heard from his side repeatedly.
And so, Rick, what are you going to be keeping an eye out as just, these legal fights continue to play out right in the middle of a presidential campaign?
Well, at what point do some of these candidates start to turn up the heat on Donald Trump? And Wednesday may be an opportunity. I'd anticipate that the moderators from Fox News at least pose the questions about how much of a distraction this is. You've got people like Chris Christie and Asa Hutchinson saying that he's flatly disqualified to hold office because of this, but you're still seeing most of the other Republican candidates pull their punches on this question. Will they do it for that long? And at what point does it become so much of a distraction? Donald Trump may not be able to attend things like debates if he's got court appearances that are happening on the same days.
All right, Rick, Olivia, I think we've said this now for a number of years. It just keeps getting more and more interesting. We'll cover it all.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.